Alright, Section 4, The Crown. Access is limited to personnel with Stage C clearance. Please ensure the entrance is firmly secured behind you. The western end of Section 4 contains treatment and observation bays for contaminated personnel and a full-body biometric scanner. A saturation habitat occupies the middle of the tunnel, linked to a moonpool called call sign Fontanelle. Oh, a moonpool. I said a tide pool earlier. Yeah, moonpool is what it's called. Tide pool. Oh boy. Anyway, yeah, a moonpool. This is what I expected. I'm guessing the crabs come up from this moonpool probably. That's how they came into this place. Fontanelle provides diving access to the waters around TEL 022. Please exercise extreme caution near the open water. The eastern end of the Section 4 contains storage for tunnel boring machinery, protective equipment, and emergency supplies. There's a dedicated zone for the safe storage and maintenance of the primary tunnel boring machine, saw spot. Oh, jeez. Okay. I'll have to look up information about saw spot. Check panic before proceeding to the next section. Okay, so this is the stuff for the saw spot. This is the moon pool here. I was going to say tide pool again. And then I guess here's the storage facility, and down here is probably the medical facility. So I am a little bit banged up. I'm guessing it's been about 9 hours, maybe a little over 9 hours now left of oxygen, or maybe a little under 9 hours, probably more like, well, let's call it 8 hours now. We've got 8 hours of O2 left in our vacsuit. I'm going to go ahead, as I've come in here, we're going to first listen to the information from Section 4 on this guy. He looks like he's cracking.
Section 4A.
I'm tired. There are beds here. I'm gonna lie down.
Section 4A.
My head is a mess. The bed is soaked in blood. That crab got me worse than I said before. I feel the water pressing in on all sides. It has a voice. The ocean's trying to get in. Just want out.
Section 4A.
Ari, answer me. I can't get the door open again. The dark half dreams. The dark half dreams.
Section 4A.
Something's glowing up ahead. Is that the Fontanelle thing? I hate it. The name. Those nights in the hospital. The fear as it gnaws in your chest. The metal plate. Yes. I remember that word. Who am I talking to? I'm gonna look for something to pry the door back open with. Screw this mission. This place. Oh, my head.
Section 4B.
Where are the controls? Where are the controls? There's someone in the saturation habitat screaming for help, but his voice is all high-pitched. I can't make him out. Horror in his eyes. One of these must open the chamber. This one.
Section 4B.
His arm is here. Jesus, he exploded. The blood. I can't see shit. The body is everywhere. I did this. I did this.
Section 4B.
The ground is quaking. I think it's over. You know, I went in that body scanner before, but I forget to pick up the printout. So there's no hope for me. Something's moving around there. I can hear it. It's coming closer. Open.
Jesus Christ, this guy is out of his effing mind. I think he's probably suffering from narcosis, or the beamish particles touched him, or he got some of the spores from the fungal thing. Who knows what is going on with this guy? But he's in much worse shape than I am. I think maybe I've taken it too easy on myself, or perhaps I've just been lucky. I don't know. But so a few things that we know. For one thing, there's the Fontanelle, the Moonpool. Oh, I forgot to do my. Hold on, I need to put in my incident. I need to put in my incident from the fall that I took and the shock. Actually, sorry about that. I forgot about that part. We'll have to remember when you're doing it all yourself. Okay, so I took a fall and I suffered a shock. All right, so the fall, it's a D10. Roll 1d10. A 9 again. Jeez. All right, so I've already had repercussions from that, so no big deal. And then let's do another D10. A 1 again. Okay, no, I didn't have a 1. Good, I had a 2. All right, so the shock gives me a 1. So if I roll one of these again, then we'll be in trouble. But I think we're okay for now. All right, so back to the list of things going on. So the Fontanelle, inside the hospital, I assume is what the decompression chamber. He found somebody, and he like instead of decompressing them, he compressed them more and like obliterated their body. That sounds disgusting. So I'll have to check that, I guess. I don't know if I want to check it or not. And then the soft spot tunneling equipment. Okay. And I guess that's and then he had an earthquake. Okay. Yeah, so he's struggling. He's struggling for sure. I think that's all that happened. The rest of it is just like a lot of madness, yeah, right? So yeah, like he got trapped inside the inside the hospital. All right, so first thing I'm going to do in here is I am going to go check the. I'm going to check the storage and supplies section, and I'm going to look for either a replacement vacsuit or some sort of like patch kit to repair my vacsuit. So, do I find anything? Well, first I'm going to look. Can I find a new vacsuit in the supply section? 46. Yes. Video surveillance scrutiny evidence. Okay, so I do find a vacsuit there, but it is locked behind like some glass. Like you have to like badge in to get to the vacsuit. Like it has a little badge reader that you key in, and then you can get to the vacsuit. It's a glass thing, so presumably I could break it. So I'm just going to take my crowbar and just smash the glass and see if I can just reach in and grab that suit. So I'm gonna roll a 1d. What is the crowbar? 1d10. Is it 1d10 or 1d5? 1d10. I mean, it's just glass, right? So I roll a 1, so I hit the glass, and it apparently is not glass. It like made like a chunk sound, so it's some sort of polycarbonate material that presumably is shatter resistant. It made like a tiny scratch in it. So instead of trying to do that, I'm going to do a strength check instead. I'm going to just put the pry bar in the edge of the door and see if I can just pry it open with my pry bar. So I'm going to do a strength check, which is a 36. I'm going to go ahead and add my industrial equipment check to that, so to make it a 46, and see if we can roll under a 46. Ah, dang, 96. So I try as hard as I can. I can't quite get the door open. Like it's too struck, and I push and I push and I push, and I try it from all different angles and different locations, but I just can't pry it open. So I can't get to the vacsuit. I'm gonna search around the rest of the lockers and see if I find any other supplies. 14. All right, no, I didn't find any other supplies, but I do find some evidence of gun. Like I see some spent shells from firearms. Like I see scattered around a few firearms, and then I also find, interestingly enough, some of those needle things from the flechette, some flechettes from the flechette gun. And I hope that doesn't sound like a curse word when I'm saying that from the transcription device. But I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it, flechette. Anyway, I'm going to do a little more searching to see if I can find a flechette gun. So I'm going to look around. Can I find a flechette gun? 72, which would be a 22. No. But while I am searching around in the lockers and things, like a piece of equipment inside one of the lockers, like an old motor, electric motor or something, falls out and almost smashes me. So I'm going to do a speed check now and see if I can dodge this. Unfortunately, I do have disadvantage. I'm going to do a speed check, which would be a 50 with my 0G, and see if I can dodge this thing from hitting me. Ah, I already failed, because even if I roll again, yep, disadvantage. All right, so I gained another freaking stress. Jeez, okay. And the motor like hits my leg when I'm trying to dodge out of the way and does another 1d3 damage. So that's another 2 damage off of my already 16. So now I'm down to 13. Or, excuse me, 14. Okay, can't see it for some reason, but yeah, it's 14. All right, so dang. All right, I'm gonna have to call it quits with all this searching around here. I'm just hurting myself. So I'm going to make my way back over to the hospital area then. So the first thing I'm going to do, let's see, I took damage from the motor that fell. I'm going to make my way over to the hospital area. I'm going to look in the hyperbaric chamber. Is there evidence of the dead guy in the hyperbaric chamber? 92, so that'd be a 42. 42. Yes. All of the body part evidence is still there. Like it's, and I've got my vacsuit on, so I can't really smell it, but I just imagine how putrid the smell is in this area. Like there's no way in the world people would convince me to stay here and sleep in these beds because it is just gore and it's just disgusting. So I'm going to go ahead and make a sanity check for that because it's a lot. Oh, failed again. Dang it. I'm getting stressed out again. All right. I am going to do a search inside the hospital, though, I'm going to try to remove myself from the gore. And I'm going to search through the supplies and see if there's any, like, healing accoutrement that I can find here inside the hospital. All right, so I'm going to do a little search for some medical equipment here. Do I find any... First, I want to search for just medical equipment in general. Do I find any first aid or stim packs? 9. That's going to be a no. So as I'm searching through all of the stuff inside here, I just can't like get my mind or my eyes off of that dead body in the hyperbaric chamber. So yeah, I'm just going to leave off searching, and I'm going to make my way towards the Fontanelle area. Okay, I'm going to make my way over to the Fontanelle now, and I rolled 3 D100s to see what I see as I approach the Fontanelle in the darkness. So the first one I rolled was an 85, which would be a 35. So the first thing I see is simulated reality illusion replacement. So around the Fontanelle, there is a feeling of disembodiment, like I'm seeing myself as I walk up to the Fontanelle, and I can almost see myself, looking around with my flashlight, like I'm a third person floating up in the corner of the room, looking down on myself. And this feeling of disembodiment is probably from fungal spores that have like infiltrated my vacsuit filter, but I think I am not suffering the effects nearly as badly as the previous Lamplighter. But I am going to go ahead and roll a sanity save regardless to see if I can overcome that feeling of disembodiment. So I have to roll a sanity, just straight 35. Oof, that's rough. Okay, rolled 18. Great. Okay. Whew. All right. So I was able to keep it together and realize that, okay, that's not real. I'm probably suffering the effects from the hallucinogen in the fungal spores, more than likely. All right. So the next thing I notice is a 55, which would be a 5. There's a tight gap possibility proximity. As I get close to the Moonpool and I look down in the water, I can see there's, instead of just being empty ocean underneath there, there's little caves and things burrowed into the sides of the rock. As the Moonpool goes down, there's little cliff faces that I can see in the water that are probably home to some critters. Let's be real. Okay, and then the last thing that I see is a 67, which would be a 17. I do note that it is quite a bit cooler in this area. Luckily, my vac suit is protecting me, but I do have a reading in my vac suit that the surrounding temperature is quite a bit lower here around the Moonpool. So as I'm kind of like gazing down into the Moonpool, let's see, does an earthquake occur? 86, which would be a 36, which is going to be a positive. I'm almost positive. Yep. Yes. So as I'm looking down into the pool, suddenly the whole facility begins to shake and shiver and groan under the shaking of this earthquake. You can hear the metal creaking and just trying its hardest to stay in its current position. And at the same time, there's just a massive feeling of shifting and my feet begin to lose my balance. And so I'm going to try to make a speed check to see if I can keep my balance or if I fall into the Moonpool. This is a big one. So I'm going to use my 0G and my speed for a 50. Let's see. Oh, dang. So despite my efforts, I tip forward and fall headfirst into the Moonpool. And that's going to give me another stress up to 11. So now I am, due to the weight of my 0G suit, I'm desperately trying to stay above water, and I'm thrashing in the water and thrashing, trying to push myself above the water, and it's taking a tremendous amount of effort to stay afloat. And I'm going to use my crowbar, and I'm going to sling it out and try to hook it on the edge of the Moonpool and try to like pull myself towards the edge. So I'm going to do either a speed check or a strength check. I'm thinking probably strength, really. So I'll do a strength check. I'll go ahead and use my 0G to give myself a little bit of a booster. 46 is what I have to beat. 46. Oh no, I fail again. So now I'm up to 12 stress, and I am able to hook the edge of the Moonpool, and I give myself a heave, but the crowbar unfortunately slips off of the edge of the Moonpool and falls down into the depths of the ocean. I am able to use that momentum to grab a hold of the edge of the Moonpool. So now I'm still in the water, and I'm floating there on the edge, just desperately holding on to the edge of that Moonpool. And my crowbar, unfortunately, has been lost to the depths of the ocean. I no longer have this crowbar. There we go. All right, so crowbar is lost. I am in the Moonpool. Is my thrashing attracting the notice of any creatures that might live in these caves around the Moonpool? 10. What's a 10? God, please. Compressor size. Okay, so I don't. The thrashing isn't drawing the attention of any creatures. However, the exertion and everything is really starting to take its toll on me, as far as the necrosis of, or what was it called, where you start breathing too much nitrogen. It's really starting to have its effect on me, and what's it called? Narcosis. Yeah, nitrogen narcosis. So it's really starting to have its effect on me, and if I don't get out soon, I'm going to panic. So I'm going to make another strength check to try to pull myself up out of the water, out of that Moonpool. So I'm going to roll a D100, and I have to get a strength check of a 46. 46, excuse me. Come on. Yes! Oh, thank God. All right. Through a tremendous amount of effort, I pull myself up out of the Moonpool, and I flop down on my belly outside of that pool, and I just lay there gasping and panting, trying to regain my composure before I make my way further into the environment. And all of that heavy breathing and exertion used up another hour's worth of my O2. So now I'm down to 7 hours of O2 in my vacsuit. All right. So now that I have safely moved myself into a position where I'm not going to die, hopefully, I am here outside of the Fontanelle. I'm going to make my way over here to the safe storage and maintenance of the tunnel boring machine. So I'm going to do a little investigation here of see if there's somewhere I can lay down and just rest for a few minutes in this area. So I'm going to do a little I'll do a couple of checks. I got a 7 and a 63, a 7 and a 63. So a 13 is, oh, I found a little living quarters, like a little cot that mechanics probably use to lay and rest at during their working the night shift or something. There's a little place you can lay down. And then a 7 is explosion risk, deconstruction volatility. Oh, perfect. I know what this is. I found some oxygen tanks that they can also use to refill their vacsuits. So I'm going to go ahead and go to first. I'm going to interact with those gas canisters, and I'm going to top off my vacsuit. Now, normally you would have the power would have to be on for these pumps, but I'm just going to manually pump it, and I'm going to roll a D6, and I'm going to, however much D6 I get is going to be how many hours I can restore to my suit before I get tired of pumping the pump. So I got 2 hours of pumping, not 2 hours of pumping, but 2 hours of gas from doing the manual pump on the thing. And depending on what happens when I turn the power on, I may or may not want to do anything there. Now, I assume, maybe wrongly, that the air is okay to breathe here, but I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to go lay down for an hour, and I'm going to do 2 rest checks and see if I can decrease my stress a little bit by resting. So just as a reminder, I must make a rest save using my worst save. And then however much, oh, I did that wrong the first time, looks like. That's okay. If I succeed, I reduce my stress by the ones digit roll. No, I did that right. I think I remember doing that. I don't remember. Okay, we'll see. So if you roll 24 under your worst save of 30, reduce your stress by 4. Okay, I think I did that right. We'll see. I will have to roll 2 d10s for this one so I can see the dice rolls. All right, so I have to roll under my worst save, which is a body save. So I have to roll under a 31. So let's roll. I get 2 rolls because I'm resting. No, I'm just rolling for an hour. So, okay. So I failed. So I don't relieve any stress, but I do get to rest a little bit. So I spent 1 hour of my oxygen resting in the bed. Okay. I'm going to get back up, and I'm going to do a little search here in this area for some gear. Do I find any gear, whether that is ammo, tools, anything like that? I'm going to do general first. Do I find any usable gear? I'm just going to looking for a yes or no. 38 is probably going to be a yes. Yes. Medical support. Oh, yeah. So I find, when I'm doing a search, I find a stim pack. So I'm going to write down stim pack here. And what does the stim pack do for me? I'm going to look it up right quick. Let's see. Cures Caro sickness, reduces stress by 1, restores 1d10 health, and grants advantage to all rows for 1d10 minutes. Okay. Ah. Can't use a lot of them. But I am going to keep it. I'm going to use it if an emergency happens. I'm going to keep that thing. And that's a great find. All right. Fantastic. Okay. So let's take a look at the saw thing. What was the name of that thing? Saw spot. Where's the saw spot? One of the tunnel boring machines, TBMs, nicknamed Sawspot, has malfunctioned and is intermittently active. Reports indicate that it has transitioned between sections via the cargo doors, and as such, its current whereabouts are unknown. When the surrounding section is powered, the TBM is also powered via inductive charge, and the Sawspot's tunnel boring blades and navigation system will operate unpredictably. Due to the massive inductive charge, personnel in close proximity to soft spot while it's operational may be thrown back. The TBM represents a significant risk to personnel health and TEL-022 structural integrity. An onboard factory reset switch is known to exist, but its location is unknown. Holy smokes, 1D100 if it hits you. Okay. It is charged, so attempts to get within touching distance of the machine. So it is sitting in the room in here. Or let's see, is it sitting in the room in here? Let's roll and see. 5. So I think that's a no. No. But you can see the tunnel where it recently went through. I could go down that tunnel, but heck no, I am not interested in that. No spank you. No spank you. Before we forget, let's go ahead and add to our incident thing here, the fall into the pool. Uh-oh, we already have a fall. This is different. This is a fall downstairs. We have to see if we rolled the same number. And then the other incident, oh, we took damage from that motor that fell out of the, motor fell on leg. Fell out of that locker. All right, so let's roll 2d10s. The first one is for, so I got a 6 and a 3. I need a 6 and a 3. So here's the 3, and here's the 6. Okay. All right. Wow. Getting lots of incidents. Lots of incidents. Okay, so I guess we're going to turn the power back on now. And so I'm going to go ahead and roll one more time, D100. 95, for Christ's sake. All right, so I failed in the restarting of the, now I'm up to 13 panic. It did, whoops, it did restart the power, but it took me an hour to get it restarted. So I'm back down to 7 oxygen. Now that the power is on, however, I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm going to walk back over to the air tanks, and I'm going to get hooked up, and I'm going to repressurize my vacsuit tanks. And whenever I do that, Ari comes online, and he says,
"What are you doing, Devon?"
"I am refilling my gas, my oxygen." And then Ari responds with,
"You are stealing from the company."
"You can take it out of whatever I get paid, if I get paid for this worst job I've ever had in my life."
"You will now be prosecuted."
I start looking around when he says that. I start looking around like furiously, like trying to see if like he's sending some like menacing robots or something to me. And let's see what happens when he says that. A hazmat suit, emergency contamination. So all of a sudden, the pressure in this in the gas pressurization, it starts like it like cranks up to the max. Like it's really starting to try to overfill my tanks and cause an explosion. And so I have to move quickly, or my vac suit will be damaged irreparably, and possibly explode and kill or harm me in a very bad way. So let's do a speed check and see with my 0G as a boost to see if I can get away from this incident. Oh, 67. So Ari turned up the tank, trying to fill up as fast as possible, and I'm desperately trying to do the disconnect, and I yank on the hose as hard as I can to see if I can just strip it off and disconnect it, and I do. However, so I keep it from exploding, but also I lose 2 more hours of oxygen before I can get the valve sealed back off. In fact, let's go ahead and do, let's go ahead and, yeah, let's just do a 2 hours. Well, I better roll for it so I don't cheat myself. Let's do a 1d3. Yeah, got a 2. Good. All right, so we'll do 2 hours. So I'm down to 5 hours of oxygen now. And also, I gained a stress from that. I'm up to 14 stress. All right, we're going to go ahead and do our panic check. D20. I have to roll above a 14. 2. Oh my god. Oh my god. Let's see what a 2 is. Mild euphoria. I get advantage for 2d10 minutes. That's not bad. Oh my gosh. Oh man. Okay, well, that's okay. That's good actually. I can get advantage for 2d10 minutes, so let's roll a d10. So 16 minutes. So for 16 minutes I've got euphoria. Alright, well, I'm just gonna flip off the the nearest speaker, and then Ari says,
Don't do that, Devon.
and then I open the section door and I move into the next section. Thank you for watching Mothership, Module 1000 Empty Light. Next episode, we'll be moving on into the next section. Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, be sure and hit that like button, and I'll see you guys next time.